Oops. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you again. How have you been? Ya tenemos tres participantes. Los vamos a admitir a todos. Okay. Good morning, Marcela. Good morning, Alexis, Tessa, and Alia. Please turn on your camera, guys. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Today, we're going to learn another singular topic. Obviously, this topic will be easier when we really want to compare with the last topic. In the last topic, we were talking about the trigonometry right triangle, trigonometry ratios, and also the Pythagorean theorem. This time, we're going to learn how to calculate the surface area of a few geometric shapes. In this situation, we're going to learn. Before to do that, we have to know what does that mean, the surface area in this situation. A surface area is the simple merely words the addition of the interior areas for one singular shape. For example, we were talking about in geometry, when we're talking about surface area, we have four principal shapes. One of them will be the prisms, cylinders, pyramids, and cones, okay? What we're going to learn today, we're going to learn how to calculate the surface area today for prisms and cylinders. What is the Prince? Prince, it could be a box. We have different faces or who have a different base in that situation. For example, one singular box could have a base like a square, the shape of the square. Another one could be a shape of rectangular base, or another one could be a shape of a piece of cheese, just like in the example. And according for that situation, okay, we're going to adding or applying one singular formula to obtain the surface area. Actually, if you see the definition, we're talking about the lateral faces of the prints and the faces that are not the bases. I mean the measures in that situation. And the lateral area of the prints is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. It's just like, for example, if I have a one singular box and I have to ensemble that situation. For example, I have this box over here. As soon as you can see, this box has shape, it has a rectangular shape, right? So the entire pieces in this situation, we're going to got a prints, okay? But if I open this box and I assemble, you're going to see a few many faces in that situation. If I calculate the area for any space of this box, we're going to obtain the total area in that situation, okay? But instead to do that, we have a one singular equation. We can calculate the surface area of the prints. In that situation, we're going to avoid to ensemble the geometric picture and try to calculate area by area, side by side. In that situation, the formula is given by S equals 2 times beta plus pH. Well, the capital S represents the surface area of the prints. Remember, a print could be a singular box. That box will be different. For example, as I explained you already, this box has a shape of a rectangular base. Okay, I have another one. This box has a square shape in that situation. So we have a different box. In the example of that in the whiteboard, this is going to be another print for that situation. That will be a shape of the ramp or a piece of cheese, right? And obviously the shape of the base, in that situation, we were talking about the triangular base and so on. For that reason, the letter B, capital B, this is an alphabet Greek letter that represents beta, area of the base, all right? P represents the perimeter, H represents the height. And probably you're going to ask, but Mr., why we will have to multiply 2 times beta, or twice the base? Because we have 2 bases, the over one in the top, and at the same time at the bottom. Just like for this example, if you see, we have a top base over here, and we have another one to the bottom. That's why we're going to multiply by 2. What will be according for the cylinder? Well, in the cylinder is another Prism, but that what will be the difference? The difference, my dear students, is in the shape of the base. The shape of the base in any cylinder will be a circle. An example, you can try to calculate the, or you can identify the cylinder if you have a can for a one single example. An example, if we have this glass, well, this is plastic glass, as soon as you can see, it has a circular shape. We have another kind of plastic glass. It has a cylinder, this is a cylinder shape, and in the area of the base, in that situation, will be a circle. But remember, in the circle, we don't have a perimeter. We have a circumference. That's why instead to use instead to use P times H, we replace the letter P by the C. That means the circumference. And you know, the area of the base in the cylinder, because we're talking about the area of the circle, always will be pi r squared. And the circumference will be given by 2 times 5r multiplied by h. So if you wish, you can use the red one or the green one. Actually, the green one will be the most precisely formula, because the only thing that we have to do in that situation will be substitute the values in that case. Okay. And obviously tomorrow, if God wills, we're going to learn how to calculate the surface area of the pyramids, and the pyramids, and also the the print the pyramids, and we have another one shape, but I totally forgot the name. But there's we have 4 geometric pictures, okay? And what we have to do, just to explain you already, this topic is easier than the last one, because in this situation, we have to learn prims and the pyramids and cones. Cones. I totally forgot the name of that one, the cones. Okay, now in this case, we have 2 examples. Find the surface area of the following solids. Obviously, both in that situation, the first one will be a prince, right? And the second one will be a cylinder. How is easy to identify this is a cylinder? Because the shape of the base is a circle. So in a simple way, we can identify the situation because we have a shape of a circle in the base, is a cylinder. Obviously, in the first one is a ramp, like a shape of the, obviously it's a princess shape of a ramp, or if you wish, we can cut the piece of cheese, right? And we have the dimensions. So in this situation, the base will be a triangle. So when at the moment when to calculate the surface area of the prince and when to apply that given formula, obviously the first thing that we have to do is find out what will be the value of the area of the base, I mean the value from beta, and at the same time, we have to find out the perimeter. And when we have these 2 values, the only thing that we have to do is replace those values in the given formula. All right. So let's going to start with the first one. Okay. If you see, as soon as you can see, that we have the base of this print is a triangle. So the first thing that we have to do is calculate the area of the triangle. So I'm going to use beta because beta represents the area of the base. And as soon as you learned a few years ago, the area of the triangle can be calculated by multiplying by 1/2 base of the triangle multiplying by the height of the triangle. Okay, this is the simple way how we can identify the area of the base. So Beta will be given by 1/2. The base of this triangle is 8 centimeters, and the height of this triangle will be 6 centimeters. Okay, you know, 1/2 times 8 will be 4. 4 times 6 will be 24. So the value from beta will be 24 square centimeters. Why square centimeters? Because we have the units. And the moment we to multiply the units, remember product the multiplication of power with the same base. We have to copy the base and we have the exponent. We have the 1 power, 1 plus 1, that will be 2. That's why we're going to have that singular answer. And obviously, because we're talking about areas, we have to talking about 2 dimensions. And because we have 2 dimensions, that's why the square unit. Okay, that will be the first thing that we have to do. The second step, remember, we have to find out the perimeter of this triangle. And if you remember, the formula for the perimeter of the triangle is the addition of the third sides or the third legs. P equals A, B plus C, where A and B, we're talking about the legs, and the letter C represents the hypotenuse of this right triangle in this situation, okay? But what is the big deal in this case? The big deal is we have the legs of this right triangle, but we don't know what will be the hypotenuse. So before to proceed to calculate the perimeter of this triangle, we have to try to find out what could be the value of this hypotenuse. So we can draw a little picture. This triangle over here. Okay, this is a right triangle. We got the measures, remember? This is going to be the 90 degrees. We have 8 centimeters. This is going to be 6 centimeters. And we are looking for the value from C. How can we do that? Simple. We can apply the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, Pythagorean theorem is given by C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay. The hypotenuse will be the longest side of this triangle, the longer leg. This is implementary words, and always will be located just in front of the right angle, always without exception. Now, what we have to do, let's going to replace those values. I mean, C squared will be equal to A, shoulder length, 6 centimeters, second power plus parenthesis B, the middle leg will be 8 centimeters at the second power. Okay, you know, 6 at the second power will be 36. 36 what? Square centimeters. Because the second power affects not only the number, also the units. Same time happens with 8. 8 at the second power, please avoid the common mistake when the people says, okay, 8 second power will be 16. That was a huge mistake because 8 second power, that means we're going to multiply twice the number 8 by himself. I mean 8 times 8. And 8 times 8 will be 64. 64 square centimeters. Now we can add both situations. That will be C squared equals 100 square centimeters. All right. And because we are looking for the value from the hypotenuse, I mean the value from C, no C squared, the only thing that we have to do is taking the square root in both sides. And the answer will be C equals 10 centimeters. 10 centimeters. Actually, in a square root value, always we have two solutions, one positive and one negative. So the right thing that's supposed to be positive, negative 10 centimeters. But in this case, because we're talking about dimensions, I mean the measures of the legs or geometric shapes, they're not negative dimensions, right? For that reason, we're going to take only the positive solution. But just for clarify, in square root, always we have two values, it's positive and negative values, okay? But because we are applying this theorem of the square root of any number, trying to looking for dimensions of geometric shapes, that's why we are taking only the positive values. All right. So we finally found the letter C. Now we can proceed to calculate the perimeter of this triangle. I mean, once again, in the addition of the three sides, I mean 6 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 10 centimeters. All right. You know, 6 plus 8 will be 14 plus 10 will be 24 centimeters. And as soon as you can see, we have the values from beta and P. But remember, the problem asking for what will be the surface area of that solid. Well, if you wish, we can remarkable this 10 centimeters over here, just to fulfill the complete the picture of the problem. Now it's time to looking for the surface area. And remember, what is the formula for the surface area? Surface area will be equal twice beta plus perimeter times height. But height of what? Not height of the triangle. We're talking about the height of the prints. And obviously, the height of the prints or the width of this prints, if you want to say that situation, will be 18 centimeters. So the only thing that we have to do is replace those values in the formula. I mean, S equals 2 times beta, obviously will be 24 square centimeters plus what will be the value for the perimeter is a mentally coincidence. We have the same numerical value, but the units are different because this is an addition, this is a product. Will be 24 centimeters multiplied by the height. And the height, just to explain you already, is the width of the springs. I mean 18 centimeters. So surface area will be given by 2 times 24 will be 48 square centimeters. Plus we can multiply the 24 times 18. 24 times 18 will be 432. 432 square centimeters. So because we have two values, these two values, we can add both and we're going to get the final answer. That will be 480 square centimeters. 480 square centimeters. All right. And that's it. This is going to be the answer of the first example, the first solid. Questions? Questions before to proceed to solving the second example.
Mister, I have a question, but it's
Mm-hmm,
not like of the problem. It's from another thing.
mm-hmm,
Is
yeah,
that where it says surface area of a cylinder?
mm-hmm.
It it says it's called lateral surface. So my question is that it really called lateral surface, or do you just
It's
wrote
called
it twice?
Okay, yeah, I wrote that twice. The curved surface is called lateral surface. I just wrote that twice. Sorry, my mistake. It's lateral surface. In that situation, the lateral surface is primarily worse. When we're talking about the shape of the cylinder, the shape of the base of the cylinder. In this curved shape of this cylinder, just to explain you already, this is a circle, and that thing we have to calculate this situation. So my mistake, I wrote that twice. Another question, according for the problem, that's simple, right? Well, let's try to calculate in the second one. In the second one, we have a cylinder. Just to explain, you're ready. Why is a cylinder? Because the shape of the cylinder will be obviously a circle. If you wish, we can use the red one, or if you wish, we can use the green one formula. Both will be the same. What will be the difference between the first one and the second one? If you choose to use the second one, the only thing that we have to do is replace what will be every value. For example, this letter that we call pi. I don't know if you studied that already in sixth grade. I think you did. Okay, and the pi value is a constant value that we have a value of 3.1416. Well, approaches, because that will be a constant value who has more digits than that. But if you see in your scientific calculator, let me looking for the application to show you um, where you can find out the value from pi. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, excellent. Let me share screen, and we have the calculator. So as soon as you can see, okay, if you really want to know what will be the value from pi in this calculator, I'm sorry, the only thing that we have to do is push the shift button and push this scientific notation that says times 10, and you're going to see this symbol. This symbol represents pi. And if you really want to know what will be the numerical value, equal button or SD button, this is a button that means standard, and that will be given by 3.14, 15, 92, 65, and 5 and 4. Obviously, you don't need to use these entire numbers. That will be enough, or if you're using only 5 significant digits, I mean 3.1416, that will be enough. But if you really want to use the entire pi, you know how to write that number in this calculator. Okay? So what we have to do, or what we're going to learn in this situation, we're going to learn how to calculate the surface area of the cylinder. Just to explain you already, remember the formula is given by S equals twice beta plus circumference times height. This is the original formula, but if you don't want to use that singular form, we can replace in just at once, right? Beta, because always will be the area of the circle. In the area of the circle will be given by pi square radius. 2 times pi square radius, and the circumference, remember, is the total measure of the around the circle, and is given by 2 pi r, and this situation will be multiplied by the height. Both formulas will be the same. What will be the difference? In this one, we can replace at once whatever we have to do. For example, what will be the height of the cylinder? The height of the cylinder, for obviously reasons, that will be 5 inches, okay? And what will be the radius? Well, first of all, what is the definition of the radius? Okay, the radius, my dear students, if we have a circle, I know you know that already. but just a little review. Hey, what a nice circle. Okay, in this circle, my dear student, we have a one singular point located, and this is what we call center. Okay, and the radius will be the distance located from the center to any point of the circle. So this piece over here, this is what we call, I'm using a capital letter just for remarkable. This is going to be the value from radius, the radius. I mean, once again, the distance between the center or the circle for any point. Could be horizontal path, could be a vertical path, could be a slant path. It doesn't matter. The value of the radius will be the same. Why? Because it's the distance from the center to any point of the circle. And we have another concept. The another concept is the diameter. In the diameter, as soon as you can see in that picture, located over here, is the distance for one starting point of the circle to the end point. That means is could be horizontal, could be vertical, could be a slant line to divide the circle into similar pieces. If you see, this is going to split the circle into similar parts. All right, this is what we call the radius. Sorry, this is what we call the diameter. In this case, if you really want to know how we can calculate the radius with the given diameter, well, we have a geometric definition that the diameter will be calculated multiplying twice the value of the radius. Why twice? Because this is the center and this is going to be a half of the line. So for that reason, if you add this value from R plus this value from R plus R, that will be 2R. So by geometric definition, diameter is defined like a line whose divide the circle into similar parts, or in simple merely words, is the double of the distance of the radius. And if you really want to know what will be the value from the radius, the only thing that we have to do is divide the diameter by 2, and we have the radius. Because this number is multiplying has to divide. What will be the value from this diameter? Is 2.5 inches, okay? 2.5 inches divided by 2, and we're going to got the value from the radius in simple merely words. I mean 2.5 divided by 2, that will be 1.25. So the radius will be given by 1.25 inches. Be careful of the moment when you see the picture of the problem, because if I draw only this line over here at the center, this point, it could be the radius, but if you see, we have the entire line, and remarkable, the center. For that reason, I'm saying this entire line that represents the diameter. Okay, what we have to do right now, because we identified the radius, the only thing that we have to do is replace these values. I mean, s equals s equals 2 times pi parentheses, the radius will be 1.25 inches close parentheses elevated the second power, because we are plugging this formula, plus 2 pi multiplied by 1.25 inches times the height. And if you see the height, for obviously reasons, is 5 inches. All right, what we have to do, the last thing that we're going to use, just if you really want to take a shortcut, okay, please, at least for a while, we're going to treat the pi constant like a verb. All right, we're going to use only the numbers. Okay, what I'm trying to say, we're going to multiply 1.25 at the second power, multiplying by 2, and we got the value of S equals uh, 3.125 pi, at least for a while, square inches. Okay, plus same happens over here. I'm going to multiply 2 times 1.25 times 5. 2 times 1.25 times 5. And the result will be 12.5, 12.5 pi.
Mister,
Yep.
why it is 3.125?
Okay, 1.25 second power. That will be the first thing that we had to do, right? And after that, multiplying by this number 2. If you multiply by 2, we have 3.125. Understood? 1.25 second
Yes.
power and the result multiplying by 2. And if you see, we have like terms, okay? We're going to add these decimal numbers. I mean 3.125 plus 12.5, and that will be 15, 15.625, 625 pi square inches. But we don't need to use, we don't need to see the pi number. So the only thing that we have to do, if we wish, we can replace the pi value by their constant. Remember, that will be 3.1416, okay? And multiply by that number and we have the answer. But if you don't want to use in that situation, it's simple. The only thing that we have to do, okay, I don't know if you can see the calculator. Can you see this calculator?
Yes.
All right then. So we can multiply just like this one. Sorry, it's 15, right? 15.625. Okay. Push the shift button times 10, you're going to see that number 5, okay? Equal button, you're going to have this fraction, like just sound like a kind of weird, right? When you have this value, you can push this button, SD button. When you push this SD button, we have the decimal number, and we can use 2 decimal numbers, 1 or 2 decimal numbers. We're going to working with 2 decimal numbers after the decimal point, okay? So the answer will be 49.09, okay? So the answer once again will be 49.09, 49.09 square inches. I'm going to I'm going to close the share screen as soon as you can see the whiteboard. And this is going to be the answer. Okay? Questions? This is a strong little recommendation. We can leave the pi value until the end, but if you want to use or multiply with pi at the beginning, you can do it also. At the end will be the same.
Mister,
Mhm.
two things. First, can you accept Hector to the meeting?
Excuse me?
First, you can accept Hector to the meeting.
Well,
Like,
let me see Hector because Hector is connected still a little bit late. I don't know why, what happened with him, but let me see the waiting room. Where's the waiting room? Participant chat. View, speakers, full screen. Yes, Josue? I'm looking for the meeting room. Yes, Josue, go right ahead.
Yes, is that I had to talk something quick with a
Mhm.
family member, and I didn't pay attention when you I think you multiplied the 15.625 by with pi, or
Mhm.
what did you do there?
Well, simple. If you can, I don't know if you can see the value from pi over here. Can you see the value from pi over here, Josue?
Yes.
Well, the only thing that we have to do, if you wish, you can multiply 15.625 You can multiply by 3.1416 and you got that answer. It's simple merely words. Or if you wish, you can use the calculator and apply the pi symbol. You're going to got the whole answer. A simple way. Now, but if you want to use the calculator for example, let me show you once again the calculator. And if you want to do it the full operation, I mean, if you really want to apply that formula, you can do it also, just like this one. 2 shift bottom pi, open parentheses, 1.25, close parenthesis, second power, okay? Move the path button. Just be careful, this cursor that's supposed to be in a vertical path, plus, again, 2 pi, parentheses, 1.25, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, 5, close parenthesis, and we got equal bottom. If you see, at the moment we got equal bottom, we have this answer using a fraction with a pi constant. This is just like a kind of weird, this answer, right? So if you want to know what will be the decimal number, the only thing that we have to do is push the SD button, the standard decimal. That means this is the meaning of the situation. And the answer will be 49.9. In this case, square inches. Okay. And this is how we can use this scientific calculator. I don't know what kind of model do you have at the reach of your hand, but if you don't have a scientific calculator, you can use that model and that will be useful because it has useful not only for calculating the surface area, is useful for calculating the trigonometric ratios. And also we can scan a graph. I don't know if you remember at the moment when we're supposed to graph a equation on the line, and we have two ways. One of them is using in interception points, and another one we're supposed to create a table values and replace every values. Okay, in the letter X, it's going to have the Y values. Well, in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the calculator to create that table values. Okay, and that will be useful for you to like take a shortcut in that situation. And you got the point, you're going to have the table values and you plot the points and you're going to see the graph. All right. Okay, guys, we are out of time. Well, we are missing only 2 minutes. Tomorrow I'm going to continue solving a few problems, but to tell you the truth, most of them is similar process. Remember, the only thing that we have to do is identify what will be the shape of the base of the prints. And after that, trying to looking for the area of the base and the perimeter. And after that, apply the formula. In the cylinders, is the most easier problems because always, we have obviously the shape of the circle. The area will be always the area of the circle, and the circumference always will be the same. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your attendance. Have a great and wonderful day.
Bye, mister. Have a nice day.
Have a nice
Bye.
day too. Take
Bye,
care of
mister.
yourself. Bye bye.
Goodbye, Miss.
Bye. Take care of yourself.